because it is just a few of us. I'll go ahead and do roll call with Kimberly. I see Dr. Glamad and our staff, Charmaine Post is present with our staff member, Carlene Millen is in attendance. I don't know why my video is not working. There is my video. Okay. At this time, are there any public comments?
Just before we came on and there were no public comments.
Okay, hearing no public comments, we would just go ahead and proceed with the meeting minutes. Accident, diversity, I know we left off in the midsection, Ms. Spiro and Ms. Glamad. We left off. I have to share my. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so just want to continue on with the. Okay. I want to continue on with where we left off. And it looked like where we left off was the pause where I had paused here, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So Miss Stills, were you on the call? Well, I don't think. Okay. I don't know if you were on the call at all during when we met the first time. Or was it?
No, I just have the recording.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. All right, so we'll just go ahead and pick up where we left off, unless there are any objections, Ms. Spiro and Dr. Glamad. Are there any objections to just pick up right where we left off?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, so performance responsibility, essential functions, develop and lead initiatives that increase general understanding of the educational challenges faced by the minority students and implement high-end quality programs and services that enable learning for all students. I think we actually dealt with this one. We stopped here. Anticipate in response to significant changes, trends, and regulations related to educational equity for the purpose of ensuring all students are college and career ready. I will bring up the last, the other form as well, so that we can compare.
I'm going to log off and come back on because I can't see your screen. I think there's something wrong, even that my video is not working right now. So I want to try to come back on again.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna the way that I'm.
Okay, the screen is gone for me too, but it was there.
Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so the screen is here. Okay, so going anticipates in response to significant changes and challenges related to educational equity for the purpose of ensuring all students are college and career ready. Did we have any objections to that? Any, we'll wait for, oh, Dr. Clement. Can you see it now, Dr. Clement? She's,
I see it now, yes.
okay. So we're on number 2. Did we want to add anything? Shift the words. One of them here.
It seems fine.
Okay.
Yes, it's good.
Collaborates with human resources and organizational development staff for the purpose of identifying existing barriers and strategies to ensure a diverse and culture proficient workforce.
Okay. I think it's fine.
Identifying and removing existing barrier or purpose of removing existing barriers and identifying strategies, I think would work better.
Purpose of
Removing existing barriers and identifying strategies to assess or to assure, excuse me.
Yes,
removing existing barriers and strategies.
No, you want to remove the barriers and identify or adopt strategies to assure a diverse.
Okay.
And
Right. Collaborate with human resources and organization development staff for the purpose of removing existing barriers. Correct, Kimberly?
removing existing barriers and either identifying or adopting strategies.
I think I like adopting.
yes. I was saying adopting is better because you can identify something and do nothing about it.
Okay, yeah, I think I like adopting. Ready to move on to the next one?
Yes.
Collaborates with professional development team for the purpose of designing professional development opportunities that are aligned with racial equity goals.
Not just designing, but disseminating or like ensuring that they're actually used. If you design them and nobody actually takes those trainings, then it's not as helpful. So we need to have something that addresses the second part.
You're looking at this word here, designing.
I like designing, but we need to also beyond designing, because I have seen teams work where they design something and they, they put it out there, but nobody actually uses it or implements it. So I would like to say design and I don't know what verb I want, but something to make sure that people are actually using it.
Okay, collaborative professional development team. Let me think about that one. Collaborative professional development team. And then we're looking at the word and something else. Or possibly and. Let's just put a.
I just noticed also it says for the propose when we want to say purpose.
Oh, the first propose. And I read it purpose like 3 times. For the purpose of. So I have 3.
I would put the and next to designing and But Ms. Millen, maybe you actually do this a lot of the time.
Yes. So I would say designing and ensuring the implementation of.
Sounds good.
What Kimberly was wanting to include, kind of encompassing that.
And you are doing that well, but I want to make sure that whoever is taking this role will ensure that whatever is designed is actually implemented.
Collaborates with professional development team for the purpose of designing and ensuring the implementation of professional development opportunities. And see, that's, yeah, it goes. Like these three, the goal was to work with human resource professional development and the superintendent with implementation. And I think it was just missing. We actually changed that word to adopting because this one is collaborates with superintendent and chief of human resource to oversee the implementation of the racial equity policy plan. Wasn't sure which one because we actually have an equity policy and we anticipate having a racial equity plan. So
say both policy and plan, or policy and racial equity plan.
Racial equity.
I mean, we could
plan
do racial
and
equity.
equity policy.
Okay, and get rid of the second "and" plan.
Yeah. For the purpose of advancement towards the goal of eliminating, something's redundant here, towards the goals of eliminating the opportunity gaps, success for each child and becoming an end. And we changed that verbiage up here somewhere, and we made it anti-racist. I'm going to read that. 5 seems a bit redundant to me. I might need another eye there. Something is off. I may be reading it probably fast or something, but something seems maybe too much of
I think there are too many words there. For the purpose of eliminating the opportunity gaps, the advancement towards the goals of is just a lot of extra words. So for the purpose of eliminating opportunity gaps.
The purpose of
get rid of advancement toward the goals.
Eliminating the opportunity gaps, success for each child and becoming.
Okay, and then after eliminating opportunity gaps and achieving success for each child.
That's and success for each child.
And the end should be after, put a comma after child and get rid of the end that's the line above.
Correct. Collaborates with superintendent and chief of human resources to oversee the implementation of the equity policy and racial equity plan for the purpose of eliminating the opportunity gaps, achieving success for each child, and becoming an anti-racist multicultural.
I'm not sure we need the word "the."
For the purpose of where implementation of the or the okay, hold on. Collaborates with and to oversee. Oh, here to oversee implementation of the
I think the opportunity gaps, eliminating opportunity gaps. I don't think we need the there.
Got it. I see what you're saying. Okay, collaborates with superintendent and chief of human resources to oversee the implementation of the equity policy and racial equity plan for the purpose of eliminating opportunity gaps, achieving success for each child, and becoming an anti-racist multicultural organization.
And there's an extra space. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Glamad?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, and then I know it's a long sentence, but I think it's fine.
And then number 6, compiles data.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Compile that. In this one, I'm wondering, I know we also working on the metrics. So in this one, it says ensuring compliance with various policies and procedures. Ensuring compliance with. Somehow I would put somewhere something about the ensuring compliance with various policies and procedures. Compliance.
So my thoughts about the matrix is this committee is in a volunteer capacity, and while it would be ideal to put the matrix here, we do not know if this committee will be. We have some pretty strong agencies or representation from the respective agencies currently on this committee. This have not always been the case, and may not always be the case. So we don't want to tie in the matrix and it does not continue to flourish in this respective volunteer capacity. And that position, the chief of equity position, is not a volunteer capacity. That's my 2 cents with respect to the chief. We don't want to start, pinpointing exactly what data that we will be using. We can hold someone accountable as a committee, but I personally don't think we should be entering the specific data because we open up a can of worms. Well, what about AAC? If they want to add a data in district ABC committee, advisory boundary committee want to compile the data, and this person want to compile the data, and that committee want to compile data. Advisory, all these different advisory committees, why would we add one particular data from one particular advisory committee and not the other? Finally got rid of it. There's a mosquito in my house.
I'm also going back to number 5 and thinking about it. Wouldn't it be collaborates with superintendent and the entire leadership team? Because we're well beyond the human resources, curriculum, discipline and school safety. So I would say superintendent and what do you call the top tier of leadership staff? Maybe Ms. Millen can jump in here.
It's the executive cabinet, superintendent's executive cabinet.
Okay, I would say that because we're beyond just human resources in what we're trying to do.
And that executive cabinet is made up of the chief of every division, so it covers the entire district.
Good point, Kimberly, and good eye for that. Compiles data from a wide variety of sources for the purpose of analyzing issues. So this one, did you understand where my point was coming from, Dr. Glamad?
I do, but the whole number 6 is very vague because it has nothing to do with equity and with ensuring compliance with various policies and procedures. Which are the various policies and procedures? Because it's some. I don't know, something more maybe specified more
Equity related?
with yeah, equity with various with equity policy, and what did you call it before, just before the same terminology you use in number 5 maybe, so that is specific, that they're not okay.
I may have put that in the wrong area, but I just wanted to type it.
Mhm.
Compiles data from a wide variety of equity-related sources for the purpose of analyzing issues. Would it go there or towards the end?
I would say more toward the end, wide variety, compiles data from wide variety of sources for the, what do you, oh, you remove it, for the purpose of analyzing issues, ensuring compliance with various equity policies and procedures, and program components. Which program are we talking about?
I'm going to jump in quickly and say we don't want to just say equity policies and procedures, because equity relates to all different kinds of policies and procedures. And the sources could be any sources. I wouldn't put equity related towards sources.
Yeah, because I think this is one of the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say various policies, procedures, and programs that relate to equity.
Okay.
I'm going to. Thought it was pretty okay because the position in itself implies to equity, but I could understand the clarification. Compiles data from a wide variety of sources for the purpose of analyzing issues, ensuring compliance with various policies and procedures and or programs that relates to.
I would say policies, procedures, and programs that relate with it. No S at the end.
Various policies, procedures, and or program that relates to equity. That's what you're saying, or no S on all of them. Policy, procedure.
On the word. Okay, wait, I lost it.
Various
policies. No, add as to programs, but when you're talking about multiple things, then the word relate should not have an S on it.
Oh, relate, programs that relate. I see what you're saying, relate to it. Yeah. Because it's multiple. Yeah. All right. Ready to move forward?
Yes.
Dr. Glamad?
Yes.
Coordinates with district leadership to ensure that all areas of assessment, data collection, disaggregation, analysis, data usage, and evaluation throughout the district for the purpose of alignment towards the racial equity goals.
Okay, we're missing something there. Coordinates to assure that all areas of assessment, data collection, we have to have a verb there because we have to assure that all areas something for the purpose. Do you understand? We're missing a word.
Maybe like coordinates with district leadership to ensure that all areas of assessment, data collection, disaggregation, analysis, data usage, and evaluation throughout the district are implemented throughout the district. After
are implemented towards racial equity.
Are implemented throughout the district for the purpose of alignment towards racial equity goals.
I think it's aligned with data usage and evaluation are aligned with the racial equity goals. Although don't just say racial, it should be all equity goals because we have disability and LGBTQ, etc.
I think this, I'm just gonna do a quick go back because we actually decided that we were gonna take out racial equity and it was going to be equity throughout.
Right. I haven't noticed it up higher, but maybe, oh yeah, you're right.
Equity. All right. Coordinates with district leadership to ensure that all areas of assessment, data collection, disaggregation, analysis, data usage, and evaluation throughout the district for the purpose of this is where we're talking about here.
It's still a verb missing.
No, so throughout the district, align, okay, get after district, align, yeah, after the word district, say align, and then get rid of for the purpose of alignment towards. And instead of towards, put with.
How are we looking on number 7?
I like it.
Assessment and evaluation, isn't it the same thing? That all areas of assessment. No, I guess. Okay.
Areas of assessment, data collection.
Well, I guess in the school district, assessment and evaluation is different because I know in my field, assessment and evaluation is pretty much the same.
It can be different. Assessment applies to all students. If we're talking about like the assessments we're using to see where they are in their learning. And evaluation is used to determine if somebody needs special services. At least in my field, my part of it, the special ed part of it, evaluation and assessment. Although in most fields they're interchangeable, they mean different things. So I would use both or leave them both in there so that it applies to both.
I'm not, for 8, for 8, I thought it was a bit redundant. Now that I'm thinking about it, when you go into number 4.
Agree.
So I was looking to remove 8.
Yes, I agree too.
Oversee all district leaders and strengthen their racial equity. Again, this is another one that, again,
Get rid of that.
I'm sorry?
That is repetitive also.
Right. Which is up top. I believe that one would be near number 5. With respect to number 3, 4, and 5, you get a little bit of this, and it kind of just breaks down exactly what's going to be done. And this is not a plan of work. This is just a job description.
Right.
And this is a plan of work. Oversee assigned. This one comes directly. There is some verbiage in the old job description with respect to that one. Coordinates classroom. May not be in this. Utilize data such as assessment, support schools. Maybe not. But Ms. Millen could probably speak to this one because this seems like a filler for almost all leadership positions where they are, and it might be under Ms. Starks where this came from, oversee assigned programs, district policies, and not necessarily district policies because this is also redundant from something we typed up before up top, but where you see the grant guidelines, state and federal regulations, someone is monitoring that. And I believe I got that verbiage from the past job description. Or
Okay,
something.
and the person that oversees that now in our district, that's our federal programs, for the grants or any federal or title programs.
So we can remove that from this particular position, Ms. Millen?
Well, normally, in equity, you usually, have opportunities for different types of grants. So that's probably why that's in here, because there's been so many grants that have come through, that tie in for either closing the achievement gap or something around equity, and they're usually assigned to the person that's doing that work. So that's probably why it's in here.
Okay, can we take a look at number 8 and see if that would be the appropriate verbiage in that sense? Because I may have switched some words around.
Could we try oversee grant making or oversee grant? Well, grant making is not what we're doing. We're trying to get grants. So grant seeking.
I think that's the assigned part, because once you receive the grant or the district receives the grant and they assign it to you as the grant holder for implementation, I think
Right.
that part is, but let's see, what's another part?
Oversee grants related to equity efforts or oversee implementation of grants.
I would oversee the implementation of grant assigned to the equity department or equity or grant related to equity, because they're going to oversee the implementation of it. They're not going to be the one writing it, right?
For this bullet, it's talking about how do you, for the grants that are assigned to you, how do you manage them and oversee them? But yes, equity, there is a grant writing group in the federal programs department.
So I'm sorry. Oversee all district leaders in strengthening the racial equity leadership. I was trying to unmute, but
Did you remove that bullet related to grants?
what did I just do?
It looks.
This is the bullet right here.
Oversee grants assigned to the department.
Oversee grants, I'm sorry.
Assigned to the department or whatever. Assigned to the equity department or whatever we call it. Is it a unit? Is it a department, a division?
We'll put department and then it can be changed respectively. The powers that be, if they need to change that word. Oversee grant assigned to equity department, district policies, and we're keeping this, Ms. Millen?
Move on. I would still put the implementation, because you can oversee a grant just on the financial aspect of it, but not necessarily the implementation of it. So instead of seeing the grant being used somewhere else in the district, they're making sure that it's being implemented where it needs to be.
Oversee grants assigned to equity department. We could just stop with that.
Because I could agree with Ms. Farrell. The reason why is when there's a grant assigned to the equity department, that grant tells you exactly what you need to, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Millen, that grant tells you what you need to do with it. It tells you how it should be implemented. It actually comes with um, not the restrictions. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It comes with the directions and the directives of the grant. You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry, it comes with the guidelines and the
Yeah.
deliverables. Yes, exactly.
So I don't think we
If that's
necessarily.
the case, Ms. Millen, then how come the other grant was not assigned to the equity department?
Because that we didn't know about, by the time when I went to the conference and met Keisha Starks at the conference for the first time, she informed us of, hey, there's a grant, and there was a company there telling us about federal grants. When I came back to the district all excited, I was like, hey, Barbara, I got this idea, went to this conference. She said, Carlene, that grant is already, the district wrote, applied for that grant already. And I said, oh, did we get it? And she said, yes, it's already being implemented. It was being implemented on the principal supervisor side, on Keith Oswald's side of the house. So yeah, that one we couldn't apply for because we had already applied for it. I just didn't know that's what it was being used for. I had just found out about it. So every district could apply for these different grants, but for this particular grant, Broward applied for it and used it for equity liaisons. And I came back to try to apply for it, but our district had already applied for it.
So going back to number 8, are we just seeing oversee grants assigned to equity department and removing the rest of this area, or?
That was my suggestion.
What are your thoughts, Dr. Glamad?
That's fine with me.
All right, number 9, participate in meetings, professional association development networks. The purpose of conveying and gathering information regarding a wide variety of subjects addressing educational reform, school improvement. This is also something that was just kind of thrown in there. Or that might be something that's similar to what was already, that came from here. So see, this is where responsible for meeting all federal and state reporting requirements for safety issues and blah, blah, blah. This came directly from the district. That's 8.
The participants in meetings related to equity.
Can you say that?
Participate in meetings and professional networks relating to equity.
Participating in professional.
In meetings, conferences, seminars, whatever, relating to equity issues.
Something to that effect.
Yes.
Okay.
And then number 2, equity.
I'm not my chair. I'm sorry.
Number 10, instead of making it improving instructional approach, make it about equity.
Oh, provides direct support and technical assistance to district leaders for the purpose of improving equity. This one right here.
Yeah. Improving equity within the district.
Um, Again, this here is all how we're gonna do the work, not necessarily what needs to be done. In my opinion, I could bring it back, but in my opinion, it's more of the plan of work versus what needs to be done. Provides direct support and technical assistance to improve equity within. Represent the superintendent and district leaders in various community interactions for the purpose of acting as an agency spokesperson for issues. Oh, for
Yeah, just remove racial and that should be good.
Somehow, I believe that even though we're not going to put racial equity everywhere, but since it is the major source of inequity in the district, based on the New York study, even if we say equity, how to say that? Maybe not at that level, but higher where we were. Somehow, I'd like to see like including like something to specifically talk
I'm
about
gonna
that.
keep this one because this is what we're talking about at the district, that they're looking to do a racial equity plan, and that's the actual terminology.
Okay.
And because this says equity policy, and then this is a racial equity plan that we're trying to implement. So I don't want to take away the plan either. The policy is there, but there's an action REP.
Okay. Because I want to make sure that we don't lose it into this document because we're doing this because of the result of the NYU study. So somehow it has to be reflected somewhere.
But we also have to keep in mind that the NYU study was performed, like most of it was performed before I joined, and that they didn't even consider, like most of the questions had nothing to do with disability or anything other than race.
Yes, we can put equity, equity including, or there's gotta be some component to that. I mean, we would just be oblivious if we don't realize the main.
And I agree, Dr. Kamal, because if we're really talking about, I understand equity, for sure we want equity throughout the district and we want to lead with equity, but we're honestly going from one topic to the next with the work not really being done. We go from diversity, then we go to equity, then it's still a matter of a race issue. If it's not, then take away race from every category that we're looking at.
I'm not objecting to putting race back on that, but I'm also saying that if you're using NYU as the reason, NYU didn't take anything else into account, so we don't even know how much of an impact we have with disability or with gender, issues and things like, the LGBTQ. I believe race is, if they did it properly, race would still probably be at the top, but we don't have an accurate assessment, to be honest. So I'm fine with leaving where you put it back in. That's okay. But I just always have, and my role here is to be the voice of disability, and I try to be the voice of everybody that I can think of, to the extent that I have any ability to do that.
Right. But I think respectfully, if this person is going to be the equity officer, this person is not just focusing on race. So, but that is an aspect that there was. So we can leave equity here, equity issues, and let that, if there is no objections to number 11.
I think it's fine. I just want it to be represented somewhere in the document.
And I think we added it back in up above.
Yeah, because we will be working on that. Well, we won't be, but there is a plan, and I know it's coming.
I'd also like to add that there is a lot of intersectionality. Like if we improve certain policies and programs for race, we're actually improving it for, in a lot of cases, for disability. Like the discipline practices happen to hit both groups in the same way. So if we improve the discipline practices, we're helping both populations. And also we have to keep in mind that there are a lot of populations. There are a lot of people who are Black who also have disabilities. You know, that there's a lot of intersectionality, that you're not just one thing in your life. So I think the way we're doing it so far, I'm happy with. And I think that as we actually get movement on some of the things we're trying to do, instead of just talking about it, we're going to be helping multiple populations with each action we take.
All right, moving right along. Number 12.
I like that.
Any objections to number 12, Dr. Kumar?
No, I was just rereading it again. It's fine.
For 13, there should be a UE at the end of dialogue.
Going back to number 12, I would say, and says that will officially resolve the issue. Is it only the issue or the issues?
You're right, we should add an S.
I think number 13 is fine, unless you're going to change something.
No, I like 13. And then for 14, I know that they used the word division, and I'm not sure what we used up above when we weren't sure what to use. When we were asking division or department or whatever, and I think
I've been talking for the last 3 minutes on mute. Number 14, would it not go kind of hand in hand with number 3? Number 3 collaborates with the human resources and organization development staff for the purpose of removing existing barriers and adapting strategies.
no.
I'm sorry?
I think number 3 is working about staff all across the district. And the last one is you're the head of your division, so you have staff working directly under you. And I think they're 2 separate things.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, should we move that closer to number 3, or is it fine where it's at? I agree keeping it separate, but
I don't think we need to move it closer, because these things at the bottom are more like what every division head has to do versus specific to the topic.
Okay, that's fine. So performs personnel functions, interviewing, evaluating, supervising, for the purpose of maintaining adequate staffing, enhancing productivity of personnel, and achieving department objectives of the vision.
Right. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is going to be called technically.
Yeah, I'm going to leave department in there for the meantime. And then this is what the current responsibilities held, which I believe each.
I think number 15 isn't applicable, or is it? I will.
It's not. It's not. You said it's applicable?
No, I'm not sure. I think that's the role that was when they had to be head of several things and not focused on equity.
Right.
Just hold second before we move it, because I see something related to choice programs, and I know for a fact there's a lot of inequity in how it's done.
But throughout the document, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is related to somebody whose job was the equity because someone needed a second. Okay. This was a job where equity was one function, but there were other functions of safe schools and other things put under one heading. And we are trying to argue for a job that's only equity related. And yes, equity has something to do with all the other, but we don't want them supervising safe schools because there's a lot of stuff involved in safe schools that isn't related to equity. And we want them to focus on equity and have for the district to take equity more seriously as its own very important position that needs, that much authority. So I think while all the stuff we have above has this person looking into human resources and curriculum and behavioral programs and safety programs and whatever, this is a position description for somebody whose job is to head these other programs. And that's not what we want.
And just to add on to that, it would be a little redundant because now we're specifying which areas this person would provide that leadership and supervision to when we say choice programs, or if we specify it. Because up top we talked about various programs. Well, that encompasses choice programs, adult education programs, other student services programs. So it kind of it would be a little bit redundant. But go ahead, Dr. Clement.
I totally agree, because it's true that the person should not be over safe school centers. Absolutely, yes. I totally agree with you. So which number relate to the various programs? Because I see this person having not necessarily leadership position in terms of overseeing the other program, but having a seat at the table to hear how they are implementing equity within their department.
We arguably, you could say, develop lead initiatives that increase general understanding of educational challenges faced by minority students. Well, how can that students implement high-end quality programs and services that enable learning for all students? That can be speaking into choice programs and all the other programs that we were just talking about with respect to number 15. Anticipate and respond to significant changes, trends, and regulations. Ensuring all students are college ready and career ready. Well, career ready goes hand in hand with choice programs. Collaborates with professional development team for the purpose of designing and ensuring implementation of, don't ignore that one. Complies data from a wide variety of sources for the purpose of analyzing issues, ensuring compliance with various policies, procedures, and programs that relates to equity. I think all of this kind of encompasses any program that's going on in any district campus. Everything that we literally just went over provides direct support and technical assistance to district leaders for the purpose of improving equity within the district. What support that can encompass providing that support to the choice program coordinator.
Okay. Can
Number
you go back to the first few ones that you showed, like the number 3 all the way up, like the other way up? Um, okay, that's fine.
Again, I think when we start naming specific departments of what they're going to be focused on, we take away from the actual acts.
Right.
I'm okay with removing it.
And this, we're kind of going over here, just making sure we're not missing anything that was currently left on the formal job description.
I mean, the collegial relationship seems like there's no harm in that. But
Oh, this one right here, like responsible for meeting, that's redundant. We've already addressed that.
And also 16 is not what they're doing.
This one here, we can move up here. Coordinate classroom, this one is definitely removed.
Yeah, remove.
and it looks like it needs a period at the end. Or why is that red?
I have no idea.
Nope.
I don't know why it's red.
Okay. There. We already discussed the data and all of that.
Yeah. I think there's support and leadership, so not necessarily the need to support the schools, because they're supporting the leaders that's supporting the schools.
Right.
Facilitates the process for the school. We kind of go with the implementation, and that's above. Unless that's saying something else, please say so.
No, I don't think we need that either. Or 19.
Yeah. Performance, this is the area I am not 100% sure. In addition to the employee being responsible for each of the performance responsibilities. This was something that is, I think, if Carlene is on the call, I know she said she had to step away. I'm not sure if she's back. This is another filler that's probably in every.
Yeah, that looks fine.
Yeah. And then follows adopt the policies of misconduct. Again, this is also fillers that are also
right
in every job description. Follow adopted policies, conduct oneself.
Now, as far as the salary level and all of that, I don't know if it'd be higher than S11.
What is the salary level of a person that is in cabinet?
I'm not sure, but HR would automatically just highlight that. HR takes care of all whatever that level is.
Okay.
Okay.
And then whatever.
Do they really have to carry up to 50 pounds?
Huh? That's also a filler that's on every job description that you have to carry.
Because there are a lot of people who can't.
Capable of lifting, carrying 20 pounds, and occasionally some physical activity required. If I'm not mistaken, I saw it even on when I was a substitute. Like, I think it's a filler. Carlene, isn't this a filler on everybody's job description?
Most of the job descriptions have verbiage like that on it. Yes, it's not.
Yeah, if you're doing paper, just the box of paper alone is 20. Yeah, it is.
If I had a candidate in a wheelchair, though, I would probably sue about that one because it's not job related.
S11, whatever We can certainly remove it, and if they want to add it back in, they can.
Yeah, I would do that because we're the equity people and we're supposed to be advising. And frankly, that job description doesn't really, or that job doesn't need somebody to really carry things. And if I were a candidate and I wasn't able to do that, I would sue because you can't put in requirements that would prevent people with disabilities who are otherwise capable of performing the major job responsibilities from being able to apply or get the job. I would probably remove S11 and just put executive cabinet salary level and they'll fill it in.
They'll fill that in too. All right. This was the only one we were coming back to. Work to close gaps between vulnerable populations. Or did we talked about this one already?
No, what we didn't have is between vulnerable populations and the general student, or between vulnerable populations and the general population. Like we have to specify what the gaps are between, and we have one end, but what's the other end? And so that would be, and the general population or between, and the typical population.
Oh, work between gaps between vulnerable population, and I see what you're saying, and something else population.
Right, and I would say the general population.
Yeah, I see what they're.
And vulnerable populations with an F.
Oh, I did. It was an S, and I took it off, right?
And I would add the before general. And no S there, because the general population is the sum total of everyone, whether it's for employment or students or whatever.
Makes sense.
I think we did it.
We did in an hour.
It looks good, I think.
I think we're ready to present it to the overall committee.
And they can actually make this 2 pages now. Look at that. Woohoo.
That's what I was thinking, how to can put it on 2 pages only.
2 pages. All right. For the sake of people's eyes.
Charmaine, will you be able to send it to Jessica so she can email it to us, the subcommittee, so that if there's anything that needs to be done before our next DDEC meeting, so if we need to change, like for grammatical, which
I'm gonna leave it 14. Let me just save it. Save as version 3. 2020. Save. Should I do Word document or PowerPoint?
Word would be easier.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna save it as a PowerPoint so I know exactly what I did as well. Presentation, just in case it's changed somehow. Oh. All right, so I will send this to Jessica. I will send this to Jessica so she can send to the entire DDEC committee. And our work is done where we would not have to do another, our committee work is done. We would not have to do another meeting, correct?
Correct. And we're done at 1 p.m. instead of 2.
Is relieve of his duties. That's the word. Please send attached to all DDEC committee for discussion. Next. All right, send that to her. I'm going to add something that says the subcommittee asks everyone to review it before the meeting and come prepared with any additional
comments or suggestions.
For the meeting and come prepared with comments. Come prepared with further comments. At this time, this committee has fulfilled duties, or the subcommittee's duties. We believe does not have any further or any future meetings. Okay. I am giving this now so I don't have to worry about it because I will forget. I'm going to send it in Word document and PowerPoint just in case someone is reviewing it on their phones and they don't look funky. I will copy Ms. Millen. And there.
And Dr. Glamad, I thought about you earlier this week. Ms. Starks called me and said, hey, I have a whole class of guidance counselors for culture responsive teaching. I said, yes, the email went out to some of the principals. Went out to all the principals, letting them know, because I think there was some little misunderstanding about if they should go to leadership or teaching. So we just had our first large group. I guess the principals went back for one of the sessions anyway. So it made me think about Dr. Glamad and the comments that she had made before about trying to get more guidance counselors in culture responsive teaching. So we did have one big group. I think it was Monday. Sometimes this week. I just wanted to share that.
That's wonderful, because I know guidance counselor they play a big role in the kids' guidance, where they're going and who refers them, who tells them even to go to a certain choice program and motivate them to learn more. So that's really, really great news.
And it's a start. It's a start. We've got a long way to go, but it's a start.
Well, thank you to your team.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Miss Stills, can you put up the agenda again? Or I can just pull it up from,
Sure, I can do it if you want me to.
sure. I know you had it, so I just took mines down and did not go back in my car for it because I thought I would start the meeting off in my car. So I printed it out. Okay, so there's no new business. I skipped that. I'm sorry, guys. There's no new business or discussion of items for the discussion of items for upcoming meeting is to present this because it is completed. We've already discussed that we have fulfilled our duties. Do we have any announcements?
No.
No announcements. Okay, perfect. Any additional comments, questions, or concerns?
One is just the fact that we're waiting on the governor, hopefully, to extend the executive order so that we can continue to meet virtually. And I think Bruce reminded me that even though tomorrow is the last day, we just need to remember he did it on the very last day for the last extension. And I just saw an alert that said Georgia extended their executive order, the governor there. So I'm hoping that our governor will as well.
Thank you. And actually, that was the last 2 extensions he did on the very last day. I know for September in August, I believe.
So does that mean our next DDEC meeting, if it doesn't extend, we have to be physically there?
Yes, and legal was reminding us of it. So I've been waiting, checking back in with them to see if they heard anything, and they were like, no. But each time, like Charmaine said, it's always been on the last day, like very last day. So yes, due to the extensions, we've been able to continue to meet virtually. But if it's not extended again, we will no longer be in compliance with the sunshine laws without having the meeting in person. So I'll be checking email even on tomorrow to make sure, hopefully we get a notification from Mr. Harris or Ms. Carmona letting us know. Charmaine, you might hear about it as well before I do.
Yeah, my girl said she haven't had any meetings, so she couldn't talk to him. So as soon as I hear, I will let you guys know as well. Hearing no other business that comes before this subcommittee, and there's no other comments, no public comments, meeting stand adjourned at 1:13. Or I can't say it. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 1:13?
Kimberly.
Seconded.
Meeting
You all
is
safe.
be safe, be well. Meeting is adjourned at 1:14. Adjourned by Kimberly, second by Dr. Lamont. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Jessica, Ms. Stills.
Thank you.
And don't forget to set your clocks back this weekend. Fall back.
And don't forget to vote.
This is Saturday.
Is it Sunday?
Saturday, 2 a.m. or whatever. Just Saturday before you go to bed. Yeah.
Saturday before I go to bed. So that's tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow is fall back. I didn't know it.
It's an extra hour. Okay. Yay. So I can go out. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Have a good one, guys.
Have a great evening.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.